Hey, welcome to On This Day. Today's December 3rd. Throughout history, some historic things have happened. I guess that's why the word history and historic sound so similar. Historic things were said, famous people were born, famous people died. Every day is interesting. So let's take a look at this day, December 3rd. 1834, the first U.S. Dental Society. The American Society of Dental Surgeons, the ASDS, was the first national dental organization formed in the United States of America. The formation of the ASDS was preceded by the formation of the Society of Dental Surgeons of the city and state of New York. I'm sure that makes sense to someone. Doesn't make much sense to me. Either does the fact that all these years later, they haven't found a way around needing a root canal every time you see your dentist. In 1835, the first U.S. mutual fire insurance company issued its first policy in Rhode Island. I guess when most of the buildings are made out of wood, it's a good idea to have some fire insurance. These people were lucky back then. They didn't have companies like Allstate and Progressive and Geico competing for clients with increasingly weird commercials. 1847, Fredrick Douglass publishes the first issue of his newspaper, North Star. Born into slavery in 1818, Douglass escaped to the North in 1838 and became involved in the anti-slavery movement. In 1845, he published The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, and it's considered to be the most influential personal account of slavery to date, obviously. He published his first newspaper, the North Star, on December 3rd, 1847. In his life, he was appointed to various political offices, including some by President Lincoln. 1863, Confederate General James Longstreet abandons his siege on Knoxville, Tennessee, when he realizes there wasn't really anything in Knoxville worth having. 1910. Modern neon lighting is demonstrated for the first time at the Paris Motor Show. Years later, the city of Las Vegas goes way overboard with the stuff. 1950. The Cleveland Browns were the last NFL team to have a no-pass game. They beat Philadelphia 13-7. 69 years later, most of the fans get really nervous when they start throwing the ball. 1973, Pioneer 10 passes Jupiter, the first flyby of an outer planet. That happened on December 4th, 1973. 1976, an assassination attempt is made on Bob Marley and others during a concert rehearsal in Jamaica. They had really angered the Jamaican government at the time with their revolutionary songs and stuff like that. This wouldn't be the first time they planned on killing Bob Marley. In 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini becomes the first supreme leader of Iran and causes nothing but headaches for the United States for many years. Do They Know It's Christmas is released in the US. The single was written by Bob Geldof, who is now Sir Bob Geldof, and sung by Band Aid, which was a whole bunch of musical artists from back in the mid-1980s from England. They all came together and they sang the song. It was actually did a lot for people in Africa that were starving. Great charity. But when it hit the US days later, it was played so often, I actually had to quit listening to the radio until about December 26th. It was just in a serious heavy rotation and you couldn't escape it. In 1989, Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev and US President George H.W. Bush declare the Cold War over. Around that same time, the Berlin Wall was taken down, and it was really a great celebration for all of mankind, really. 2012, at least 475 people are killed after a typhoon makes landfall in the Philippines. 2018, Sir David Attenborough, an English broadcaster and natural historian, warns the collapse of civilization and the natural world is on the horizon at the UN Climate Summit in Poland. Born on December 3rd, 1842, Charles Alfred Pillsbury is born in Warner, New Hampshire. Yes, that Pillsbury. Was anyone else shocked that he wasn't wearing that little Pillsbury Doughman hat? I know I was. That's what I was expecting. Anyway, December 3rd, 1948, Ozzy Osbourne is born in Aston, Birmingham, England, and the world has been stranger ever since. 1960, Moscow, Russia, Igor Larionov, professional hockey player, and one of my favorite hockey players of all time. I actually met him once. He was a really nice guy. He didn't seem like he was in a hurry. He talked to me and my friends for a couple minutes. Died on December 3rd. 2015, Scott Weiland dies in Minnesota. He was the lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots. He was in Velvet Revolver and a couple other bands, but he died while on tour in Minnesota. In his hotel room, they found cocaine, various prescription drugs, including Viagra. All right, everyone, those are the things that happened on December 3rd. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, this first month is kind of like the testing month. We'll be going at it every single day, January 1st, or 5 days a week, I should say. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.